Hey, what's up? Good morning. Let's see what's going on. I had a story for you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do. Let me start off with what happened to me yesterday. Um, last night I went to a funeral. Now I don't go to funerals as a rule because I don't know what I'm doing there. I can't stand up and kneel down and all that other stuff. So I usually just sit and listen, and it's in Spanish. And I had a priest one time in New Jersey tell me, "You don't understand what's going on, do you?" I said, "Listen, I went to Catholic school. I, I got out when in third grade, but I was in Catholic school, and I still went to church with my mother once in a while. And I'd sit there and didn't understand a word then. Not because it wasn't in English, it was in Latin. So I'm used to not understanding what you guys are saying. And to tell you the truth, I'm not really that interested. I'm here out of respect and love for my nephew and his wife who lost their child to a miscarriage. And the child was deemed a baby and was cremated, and that's why I'm here. I don't really care otherwise. I'm not a church person. I just think that there's some things you have to do because you're dealing with I'm dealing with a relative, and I don't know what to say, but my presence says it all. That I care, and I do. I care about him. So, I don't know what to say, but it worked out well. They knew what to say. So, that was last night. And then I started reading the newspaper, the internet, and I just can't, I have problems with what goes on in the world. It's so stupid. You got Trump. This is a senator, and some other people are saying that Trump's crypto deal is probably the biggest corruption in history of the presidency, and that's just Donald. He has no idea. He believes the law is written for you and me, and if he can make money by defeating that law and making you uncomfortable or poorer, he will do it because he doesn't care about you. It's not just a lack of empathy. Trump doesn't care about anybody. Trump doesn't pay attention. It's not. How can I say this without sounding ridiculously pissed off, which I am. But he doesn't he don't give a damn about anybody or anything except himself. There was the deal where he went after he left the funeral of the Pope early and wanted to get out of there real fast, and everybody said, "Why? What's he doing?" He says he wanted to go play golf in New Jersey. Somehow or another they ought to be able to fine that golf course for existing, and get rid of him. But that's where all the money in New Jersey, in that part of Morris County and whatnot, plays. In Somerset County, they go there to the country club, golf course. The average guy doesn't play golf there. The average guy goes over to public golf course, Pinchbrook. They play there. I had friends of mine that were greenskeepers there, or greenskeeper supervisor there. Yeah. All right. I don't play golf though. I hate that game. Trump was going around saying all the judges that are going up against him in his immigration stuff and everything else, that they're communists or this, that, they're corrupt, all this stuff. Well, it turns out the one that blocked his immigration deal was appointed by Trump. That might be an honest judge. Who knows? You never know. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know the answer to that. But then, anyhow, that's what happened, and we'll see what happens if he, see if he can fire the guy or whatever. You know he's going to be pissed. Harvard's going to lose its tax exemption. I don't think he can do that arbitrarily. I think he might be able to do it, but I think there's some other sort of procedure he must follow, and that we'll have to wait. We're going to have to wait on that one to see what happens. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to give in to him, but we don't know. You know. Of course, the tariffs are going to screw with the stock market again after today or Monday or something like that. Anyhow, there's a good chance that the insider traders are on the move already. You know, and that's it. You know, we'll see what happens there. Waltz, the security advisor who was responsible for putting the reporter into the Signal chat that got Hexit and everybody else in a lot of trouble, is moving on. He's being removed, and he's going to be the ambassador to the United Nations, which is, you know, I guess it's cool, you know. Yeah, I know if I think Trump was afraid to do worse because he would piss off everything. And, you know, piss off Trump tremendously, and that's the one thing you don't want to do. I mean, he's already pissed him off, but, you know. So he did that. That guy's gone. The insider trading is about to start again with the tariff situation. Let's see, the Knicks won. They're into the second round of the playoffs. Knicks, my team. I used to have season tickets to them. I've did it for a year. You know, it's not cheap, but you know. But it's just as boring there. You're waiting for back then you waited to see what's going to happen in the last 2 minutes of the game. The rest of the game was, you know. Maybe you see some spectacular shooting or something like that, depending on who the Knicks played, you know. So, but they won, and I'm happy for that, you know. Trump is, let's see, what's he trying to do? Oh, he's going to remove the funding from National Public Radio and public broadcasting systems. He wants to control the narrative. You understand what I'm saying? He wants to control what you see and what you hear. He doesn't want to give you a lot of options. I'm not a really good option because I get all my news from the news. You know, everything I say is out there in print someplace. I'm not in a position where I can do investigative journalism, but I can research certain things if you ask me to. So look in the comment section and write something if you want me to check something out for you. If you say you heard, well, I'll find out if it's true or not. If there is something out there that has a definitive answer, I'll give it to you. But this NPR and PBS, that's just stupid. You know, he said the same thing about Radio Free America. He wanted to ban that, you know, and he wants you closed in this little box. Call whatever state you're in, whatever county you're in, whatever state, city, whatever. That's where he wants you to stay. That's where he wants you to be able to. He wants his people to watch you and manage everything you say. Orwell's 1984, folks. Coming at you live from Donald Trump. Well, Harris went out and said something yesterday, Kamala. You know, remember her? She ran for president back in 2023. The problem I have with Kamala is it's 100 days since she said anything of value. You know, made a national comment. I think as a politician in the national spotlight, she should be roasted, cooked, done, finished. New blood is needed. And unfortunately, I think that new blood's going to come by way of revolution. I have a very good friend of mine, a complete pacifist. not into any kind of violence whatsoever, says that she's now saying that she believes that the only solution to this, to getting rid of Trump, is a violent revolution, not just a revolution, a violent revolution. Now, I don't know whether I agree with the violence part, but some sort of revolution has to take place if you're going to get rid of Trump. So, you know, that's just the way it is. What did he want to do? Oh, here he goes. We talked about the crypto thing, right? Yeah, all right. Get rid of that. And then Trump wants to change the name of Veterans Day to something to do with World War I. So the rest of the guys that died after that period of time in the World War II, and the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, and all that, all the other wars that are out there, don't count. Those veterans don't have a day anymore. If I'm going to rename a day, I'd like to rename it Down with Trump Day, you know. I think the end for him is near. I don't know how much damage he'll do before he leaves, and you have to make sure that some other people can't, you know, like Vance and Headsworth and Musk can't get involved and get them away from the government for a while, so we can try to. You're not going to fix things in one president's terms. It's going to take 2 or 3 good presidents to put everything back together again. That's the thing about the United States. It's easy as hell to tear it apart and get rid of stuff. It's harder as hell to put it back together again. You know, it's sort of like we're all the king's men, and Humpty Dumpty is the shit that Trump did. You know, how to get it back together again. Because there has to be changes, which requires a lot of people bullshitting because they want their piece of the action. You know, that's what Congress is all about. So everybody's looking for a piece of the action. I don't know what's going to happen in the future of the United States. I'm not going to see the end result, I don't think. And either is anybody else that, you know, is my generation. We're not going to see the end of it. I hope we see the start of it, though. You know, I hope we see Americans starting to fight back whichever way they can. And a lady asked, put up another woman friend of mine. I know a lot of women from when I tended bar. They've worked with me in the restaurants and whatnot. That's how I know them. They all have husbands and kids and everything else, and they're all close to my age. So it's nothing, you know, nothing other than the fact that they're friends. But this woman asked me, well, she put a post up and it said, you know, what are we going to do? And I said, you get up off your ass, get out in the street and protest. And I'm talking, this is, you know, if we can do anything without a revolution, this is it. Get out in the street and protest. Go out and find your representatives at any level, from the city to the state to the federal government. Confront them in person, yell and scream in their face. Don't be insulting. You know, try to deal with logic. Try to get them to think logically. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm saying let's give it a shot, folks, before we have to, you know, take to the streets and. But you have to take to the streets anyhow. But I mean, without violence right now, you know, without weapons, without anything, just get out there. Massive marches. There was supposed to be some yesterday. I didn't hear anything about it. Didn't see anything on the news. You know, the news uses the Pope as an excuse for taking everything and putting it on the back page. You really have to go find podcasts or whatever. You know, find a good podcast out there. I don't know of one right now. You know, other than sports ones. I know sports ones. But I don't really know any good news podcast. People say, well, why don't you do a podcast? Well, number one, it'd be the same as what you're seeing now, only you wouldn't see my face. I can't get guests where I am. You know, nobody in the United States wants me to put on a Colombian politician on here. You know, unless it's just an example of corruption. So. You know, that's not happening. All right, I've covered everything I want to cover. If you'd like me to go on and do a show about some particular topic that I covered, I will, and I will have the research to back up what I'm saying and everything. And we'll, see what happens there. Okay, I gotta make my grocery list. I gotta go grocery shopping. So I will see you mañana. Oh, before I leave, don't forget, hit the subscribe button, folks. I need that just so you know. I know there's somebody breathing out there actually watching me. Cares what I have to say. Okay, take it easy.